That's a bit wild that you lost to the hair plug guy.
Welcome into Tapping Vegas, brought to you by Better and Green. Today we're breaking down Josh Emmett versus Lerone Murphy. And Bobby, I'm kind of excited for at least this main card. Not so much so the prelims, but happy to be here. Also, we want to thank our friends over at DraftKings. We get all our odds from them. And if you guys would like $150 in free bets, make sure you use our link in the description. Bobby, let's just get straight into it, man. This first fight, I believe both of them are tough alumni, if I'm not mistaken.
So we have Robert Valentin, who is an Ultimate Fighter alumni. So Finney is Dana White's Contender Series. Took him 3 tries on Dana White's Contender Series to finally get a contract. First time, rear naked round 2 finish in 2023. Unanimous decision that was an absolute stinker last August. Dana White famously said he would get decimated in the UFC. He had no interest in signing Finney. No hope for him. Finally got the contract last October. Ground and pound round 1 finish to secure it. So, yeah, Robert Valentin versus Torrez Finney. This is a tough one. Robert Valentin looked really good on the Ultimate Fighter. He had a very impressive 20-second punch, like elbow to punch finish over Giannis Bacher in his March 2024 tough debut. After that, armbar round 1 over Paddy McCrory last April. And then unfortunately, he fell just short in a barn burner up against Ryan Loder last August. So Loder ended up being the champion of that season in that weight class of middleweight. And Valentin was the second runner-up. This is a tough fight because Finney definitely is getting a huge boost from that undefeated record, I feel like, because Valentin has a 77-inch reach compared to the 75.5 for Finney. Huge height advantage, 6'2 versus 5'8 for Finney. Age isn't that big of a deal. Valentin's 30. But not a lot of miles. He definitely has the experience edge, 14 total fights, so 4 more than Finney at 10. So, yeah, 26 for Finney, 30 for Valentin. I'm not too concerned about that aspect. But, man, this is very difficult because, yes, Finney's looked good, and that's why I wonder, damn, I know that second Contender Series appearance was a real stinker, and he just held roasting down and did absolutely no damage, and that's kind of what made Dana White flip out. But why did you not want a guy who, in his first appearance on the show, had a rear naked round 2 finish? You know, like I just don't understand why it took him so long to sign Finney. I mean, for all the criticism against Dana White, he can, pick at least entertaining fighters, if nothing else, to be somebody else's highlight reel if they can't create a highlight reel themselves. So it's just very odd. I mean, Finney's got a lot of finishes. I mean, in his last 5 fights, he's only went to that one stinker of a decision, and he barely makes it out of round 2. So just don't understand. Maybe he just wasn't impressed by the level of competition he was at on the regional scene. But, I mean, how many other fighters have we seen just absolutely can crush on the regionals and still get contracts like nothing? I mean, even Paddy Pimblett was a can crusher, in my humble opinion, for the majority of his career and for some of his UFC matchups so far. But that's a different story. But overall, this fight it's interesting from a betting standpoint. Because if I was just doing something just to pick and just to brag about how fucking smart I am and sniff my own farts with a smug sense of satisfaction, I would easily just say Torrez Finney handily. But I'm just curious with all those discrepancies in height and reach and the fact that, yes, I get Valentin is coming off that loss to Loder, but man, that was a back and forth fight with some exciting scrambles. Like Valentin had Loder's back at one point, was threatening a triangle at one point, like just a lot of crazy grappling exchanges, and was really holding his own until Loder finally got that crucifix and Valentin just couldn't get out. So it wasn't like Valentin just got steamrolled. It was very competitive. So that's just what makes me wonder, okay, if Finney comes out and he tries to take like a wrestling approach and he tries to be boring like that second Dana White's Contender Series approach, I think he could be in more damage and more danger than he thinks going up against Valentin, just with how crafty he was looking against Loader, a guy that is also a very big, stocky wrestler that's going to aggressively go after the takedown if that's the route Finney goes. And then if it stays striking, I mean, I know Finney's probably going to pressure the hell out of him. And, if Valentin starts acting like Stefan Struve and doesn't know how to use that height and that reach to his advantage, I could also see Finney just overwhelming them fast and, chinning them and getting the finish that way. But, man, there's a lot of X factors that it just doesn't sit right with me for Finney to be such a heavy favorite in this fight at minus 305 is just what's killing me about the situation. Like, for a minus 305 to plus 245 money line for Valentin, it's just kind of too hard for me to pass up with all those X factors at play. And I feel like you're kind of getting ahead of people who are just already writing Valentin off with his loss and everything. And they're just like, oh, well, the guy's just exposed and fraud check and all this. It's like, I get that undefeated record is very shiny and it's very new and tantalizing, but it's tough. It's tough to have to go with that. I think this should be closer. I just think it should be a lot closer, man. I don't necessarily think a pick 'em. I do agree with Finney being a favorite, but this heavy is just outrageous to me. And you got 19% of bets are placed on Valentin right now, 81% on Finney. Vegas does not want to pay that out, so it's not like it's a weird odd that Vegas is just like going to screw you on. Like if it happens, like they're not going to lose that much, because only 19% of people think he can do it. They're just really caught up in that Loader loss. And I think I'm going to go with Valentin. It's just way too tantalizing to just pass up right now. If Finney was a little bit closer, this would be an easy Finney, but that I just can't, man. I can't with that huge discrepancy. And maybe I'll be stupid. Maybe I'll look dumb and I'll fucking have some dumbass telling me, well, that's why it was what it was. And it's like, well, thanks for telling me after the fact there, Captain Hindsight. But
Yes.
yeah, it is what it is. As far as a method, I'm not really going to go with what I was thinking, Valentin by KO, TKO, or sub, because that's only at a plus 280.
Oh,
Yeah, it would
wow.
be great. I mean, it's nice that it's at plus 280. So maybe to really just like, I don't know.
I just thought
Because
it'd be way more.
well, yeah, I know that's
With
what I'm
him
saying.
only at
Like,
plus 245 money line, like that's kind of crap.
yeah. So that's why I'm not too tantalized by it. I think it has to be a finish for Valentin. If this goes to decision, I don't see him winning it. If it goes to decision, it's because Finney just pulls a wet blanket, and like Dana goes shades of red we've never seen before in real life and just cuts him after one successful fight in the UFC. If he just like holds Valentin down and does no damage, like the guy would be permanently banished from the UFC for the rest of his life. Like was it Paul Daly that punched a guy after the bell or something and
Yeah.
got banned from the UFC? That's what they would do to Finney if he handily just like smothered the hell out of Valentin and Valentin couldn't do anything. So yeah, I wouldn't put my money on Valentin by decision, but I'll play it safe and just go money line because there are so many factors at play here that kind of scare me, but not enough to detract me from Valentin. I mean, I want him to be something, but in that same breath, I also would not be surprised if Valentin isn't what I want him to be, unfortunately. What do you think?
I think that this would be a pick 'em if instead of Valentin, it was Finney versus a doorway. Because that man's
Oh,
wide as hell.
yeah, that doorway ain't winning.
that man's got to walk through sideways. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying. We were talking a little bit about the money. We're seeing some sharp money coming in on Valentin. 19% of bets, but 34% of the money. Every like betting channel I've been watching is picking Finney. I have concerns though. Like one of the things that's sticking out to me, and Valentin's like stats that everybody's going to see is like a little. It's not accurate, right? Because every fight he's fought and has been like an early stoppage, and he said that one dude was like 22 seconds. So it shows that Valentin strikes per minute is 0.15. Like, they're a little off there. It does look like
Yeah.
he has poor strike defense. So I do worry if Finney catches him, he might go out. But then it also shows Finney is averaging 10 takedowns a fight. And what does that tell you? That does not tell you that he has exceptional takedowns. That tells you people are getting up. He's fighting
Right.
only 3-round fights, and he has 10 takedowns a fight. He's having over 3 takedowns a round. Like, that's insane. And if it does go to the ground, I think Valentin's the one that's going to get the submission. I like Valentin if this does go to the ground to get a finish. But once again, he can't be smothered by Finney, which is what the concern is. Because if Finney just outmuscles him, and this is my thing about outmuscling. Bobby, back in the day, I wasn't the strongest guy out there, but I was pretty quick and I knew what I was doing. I was wrestling against a kid from McClure North. Now, for those of you who don't know where that is like up in St. Louis. That's in the city school right there. And Bobby, could you believe this dude was incredibly strong? That was not a fun first round. That was not a fun first round for me at all. I mean, I was still winning based on points, but it just was not fun going out there and really trying to like handle this man. But what happened? Here comes the second round. I put him on his back and it's over. All right, You're strong, but strength only lasts so long. I wrestled a kid from Warrenton. Uh-oh. That's a country boy. That's a strong kid. That's some those corn-fed boys out there.
Yeah.
What happened? Not a fun first round. I get through it. I survive. I put him on his back in the second. It's over. We're done. We're stopping it. Strength only lasts so long. And this is with Finney. I think he's got crazy knockout power. I think he's so strong if he gets a single leg on Valentin. Like, he doesn't really do double legs. He does a single leg high crotch and just throws you up, lifts your legs off the mat, and then returns you. That's what Finney does. And I think if he does that to Valentin, I just hope Valentin can scramble enough that he can lock up a submission, because Valentin does have some pretty nice submissions. So I think if Valentin can weather the first and second, I like his odds, especially as this fight goes on. I think that the odds are going to shift more and more in Valentin's favor. And at plus, 245, I'm going with Valentin here as well.
Yeah, I just like his scrambles against Loader. Loader also looks like a strong dude. Look like
he's a good wrestler.
Physically built, definitely a better, from an experience, knowledge, technique base, probably better than Finney, I would wager. I would hope. That's kind of what I'm basing some of this off of. And it's like, yeah, maybe Finney's strong, but it's also those short dudes always look so damn jacked. Like, it's like when you're a taller guy, like 6'3", like Valentin, it's hard to look as jacked, man. Once you start getting, above like 5'10", it's a little bit more difficult. But anyway,
it's going to be interesting. He's going to be swinging like he's trying to get the chocolate milk off the top shelf, man.
Yeah, and that sucks. You lose some of that. I mean, you lose some of that momentum and some of that power when you're having to swing up like that. And it's not anything crazy. It's 5'8" to 6'3". Yeah, it sounds ridiculous, but it's not that ridiculous. And he's still going to be, launching anvils at Valentin. So he's got to be careful. But there's just too much about Valentin being crafty in that Loader fight and having that significant height and reach advantage and also power in his own right that just, I would. If there's something I'm going to gamble on, it's this one for sure.
And absolutely, before we go on to the next one, I just wanted to hammer that home. If you're going to be wrong on a plus 245 dog. Don't be wrong on the minus 305 favorite.
Right.
All right, let's talk about that next fight. This is another very interesting one. I think all the dogs on this card have a good chance. But that's Brad Tavares versus Gerald Meerschaert. Both these guys, 37, both older. Both have a lot of wear and tear. Both haven't been doing great, but both also fight, better guys. They're not out here fighting cans. I believe Meerschaert's coming off a loss to, if it's not Renier de Ritter, I believe was his last fight.
Yep, it was de Ritter.
That's a hard fight. That's a very hard fight, and especially for Meerschaert, that's like putting his strength against him. And so I was like, Tavares, if he wins, I think it's going to be by decision. The best thing that Tavares does that is going to give Meerschaert problems is going to be that he's okay being backed up against a cage because he doesn't want to get taken down. He's got good takedown defense, and that is what Meerschaert's going to want to take him down, submit him. Tavares can stay against the fence. You know, he can fight out those takedowns, but this is also what's going to happen. Meerschaert can just hold you against the cage. Shout out our new light heavyweight champion.
Uncle Wyatt, yeah.
Uncle Wyatt, shout out to him. Just hold him against the cage. Or what we just saw with Tavares also, I don't know if it's a couple fights back maybe, but when he got knocked out, he just got put down. And it's like, okay, it's a little scary here. It's a little scary for me. I don't think I can take Tavares here. I think I have to go with the underdog again. I think I'm going to have to go with Meerschaert. Also think Meerschaert's had the better competition as of late that he's been losing to. Tavares, he's fighting decent guys, but you're still losing. You're 1-4 in your last 5 fights. So I'm going to go with Meerschaert here. I think we're just going to go money line again. Plus 180. Another thing about this fight is the odds are moving in Meerschaert's favor. So you have more money starting to come in on Meerschaert. 35% of bets, 77% of the money. Now that's a little scary. Yeah. Because that's 77% at plus 180. And that's a lot. But it also kind of feels like, and Vegas has done this a couple times recently, where the odds just don't come out right. And then people get behind it, and then Vegas takes a loss. I think it could be that here, because 65% on Tavares is very surprising to me. And all that sharp money coming in on Gerald, it's making me think even more so that he's going to win. So I'll just take Meerschaert by moneyline plus 180 and just cover my bases there. What do you think?
Yeah, it's been working out pretty well for us the last 2 weeks. Like we were both in on Kevin Holland at a pretty healthy dog status. That went exceptionally well. That Sean Brady double method at a plus 275. It was crazy to get that at such good odds. Like, you know, we were spot on with everything, getting Melquizel Costa at a pretty nice little dog odds last week. Like, it's been working out pretty well. And I think hopefully this card will be the same way because, yeah, I like Meerschaert as well. The main thing I like about Meerschaert, yeah, I agree with you. So these guys are both 6'1". Surprisingly, Meerschaert has the reach advantage. 77 and a half to Tavares' 74 is wild to me. I didn't know that. But yeah, 20-10 Tavares. Meerschaert even has more fights, 37-18. Damn, the guy's fought a lot. Very active. But, I mean, you made a good point because I agree. I think he's been facing the tougher competition. And both of these guys have been fighting since 2007, which is crazy. Yeah. They started their amateur and pro careers in 2007 and, like, freaking Ultimate Fighter alumni Brad Tavares on the 2010 season there. And then Meerschaert was he came into the UFC. When did he come in? Right quick, because that's craziness. So 2016 he came into the UFC, so that's pretty cool. Damn, I didn't know it was that late for him, 2016. But hey, good on him for making it. But damn, 25-8, man, that's crazy coming into the UFC with that much fight experience. You don't see that, especially in these days. Usually guys are 10-4, 10-0, like very few fights. This guy already had 25-8 record coming.
He had a career already.
Yeah, seriously, man. Damn, what took them so long? Anyway, yeah, I came in and I agree. I think he's been facing a lot higher level of competition, man. Thiago Santos, Jack Hermanson, Kevin Holland, Ian Heinisch when Heinisch was on a tear. Unfortunately, he was a sacrifice to Hamzat. But, I mean, he took that Hamzat loss and bounced back. You know, guillotine, rear naked finishes, 2 rear nakeds in a row, and a guillotine, 3-fight finishing streak over Bartosz Fabinski, who's not even in anymore. Mahmoud Muradov was decent at the time. Dustin Stoltzfus, that was back when he looked like something. Bit weird to lose to Christoph Jocko. Guillotine over Bruno Silva. That's always good that you can guillotine Bruno Silva, not the one I'm thinking of. But anyway, no shame in losing to Joe Pfeiffer. That was back when Joe Pfeiffer looked good. Jury's out. Dropped a split to Petrosky. That was kind of controversial. And then, yeah, I mean, he's spotty in places. But, man, Brian Barberena and Edmund Shabazian, We called it Edmund Shabazian win. We made a lot of plus money off the
That
money
was a
line
big one.
for him on that and the sub. So, and then yeah, no shame in losing to DeRitter, as you mentioned. That was kind of a grappling battle where it's like his strengths play right into DeRitter's strengths. So of course that's
Right.
going to be a tough battle. But I think he decidedly has the sub advantage
Oh yeah.
over Tavares in this for sure. And if he's smart, he's not going to want to stand and trade with Tavares because that's going to be exactly what Tavares wants. And I know that Tavares has never been subbed in his career, but if there's ever a time for him to get subbed, man, it would be now. It would be 100% now. Dropping a split to Jung Young Park last October. Punches finished by Robocop Gregory Rodriguez. Barely beat Chris Weidman. That's not anything to brag about in 2023.
No.
Bruno Silva finished him. Duplessis beat him pillar to post. I mean, it's been rough for him, man. Not counting that Weidman win in 2023, you'd have to be going all the way back to 2021 to get this man's last win if it wasn't for that fight. And that was against Amari Akhmadov, who once again is not even in the UFC, and that was a split. So that was a bit contentious anyway. Antonio Carlos, shoeface, not in the UFC anymore. That was 2021. Before that, head kick by Shabazian in 2019. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. So I don't know how. I don't know. I don't know what people are seeing differently to make 65% of bets come in on Tavares and to make him a minus 198. I don't see it. I don't see it. I know Meerschaert can get chinned. I know he can get caught, but he even looked good against the Ritter. He looked really good until he lost. I know
You
it.
have you have him listed at minus 198?
Yeah, on DraftKings right now at least.
Dude, it's moved since we started recording. He was minus 218. It's moved that much.
Damn. Yeah, get on this now because
Yeah.
if that's the case, Meerschaert's at a plus 164.
Oh,
And
he's
I think
plus 180 when we started.
that's wild. That's crazy. Yeah, hurry up and get on this because there's no reason why Meerschaert should be this much of a dog. No reason. I might come back to this for the haymaker because you can get Meerschaert sub at plus 400. I don't think he's going to KO TKO Tavares. He could, but I doubt it. Decision, I don't hate decision because if he goes to a decision, it's because he's wet blanketing and he's holding them down. So I don't hate that. Let me check out double method right quick. Because if you could get Meerschaert, you still get a good deal on Meerschaert sub or decision at plus 200. So I don't hate that. I think I'm rolling with that. I'm thinking I'm gonna go Meerschaert sub or decision at plus 200. So
Okay.
I think that's how I'm rolling.
I like it, man. I like it. Why don't you talk about your buddy from high school on this third fight?
Yeah, so I have a good friend. He used to slap me on the ass and call me names. His name is Cortavious. And Cortavious Romious, are you not entertained, is fighting Chang-Ho Lee. Holy shit. That's what he should be saying to himself. That's all I got to say. Because Cortavious Romious is coming for that ass. So Cortavious Ramos versus Chang-Ho Lee. Yeah. Interesting fight. I personally am not a Cortavious guy, but last I checked the odds, there were some interesting things about this fight that made me think people were a bit too quick to write him off. I mean, losing to Gaston Bolaños, I remember that fight. Pretty sure it's the one I'm thinking of. Bolaños looked damn good. Really looked good. He hasn't fought since then, which is disappointing because, I mean, he's only been in the UFC since 2023, won against Aaron Phillips, lost to Marcus McGee January 2024. No shame there. Marcus McGee's really underrated dark horse of that division. He finished Gaston by strikes in round 2. And then he came back, man, and he looked great against Cortavious. He really did. Looked amazing. Never was in any danger. I think he had Cortavious hurt a few times. So really looking forward to seeing Gaston Bolaños back in the octagon. I think he's got a lot of promise in the division. And so how that plays into my analysis is with how good he looked, there's no shame in losing to Bolaños. So I think people are a little too quick to write Cortavious off because of that. Because he looked good enough. to get a decision win over Emperado and still get a Contender Series contract last August. So that's pretty crazy that you can manage to do that. I mean, that was his second Contender Series appearance. First one, he got finished by strikes in round one. Didn't let that deter him. Went back to the regional scene, picked up some confidence, won a fight, came back. And for him to get a contract off that decision, it must have been an absolute beatdown. I don't remember that Michael Imperiato fight too much, but pretty impressive to be able to pull that off considering how Finney couldn't. So, hey.
Right.
So Chang-Ho Lee in this fight, I think this is another case of he's only got one loss, so people are really riding that. Split decision win over Longzhu last June, and then that was his first UFC fight. Road FC is a very good organization, so that's definitely also probably playing a role in this is, the quality of the Road to UFC organization that they got for that up-and-coming Asian talent to try to get a contract into the UFC, especially in Korea, like Chang-Ho Lee's from Japan, those fighters, Chinese fighters, etc. So I think that definitely is one of the things that people were looking at. I mean, ground and pound, round 3, round 1 finish in the Road to UFC. So it motivated the UFC to sign him, another ground and pound finish. So dude definitely is a finisher, which is nice to see. It's tough. Let me check out the odds to see if it's shifted since odds are just going crazy right now, even at the time of recording. But I think people are just a little too crazy about just thinking Romious is just done for, just fighting that level of competition. And it's not enough to move me. It's only plus 114 for Romious, minus 135 for Chang-Ho Lee. Let me check out Cortavious again one last time. This is making me more towards Chang-Ho Lee. Armbar on the regional scene, unanimous, armbar, rear naked. More grappling than I thought. He kind of struck me as like a power guy. Yeah, 56% of his wins are by sub. That's very interesting.
They're both strikers, but Romious is definitely the better grappler.
Interesting. Because if he's gonna hold Chang-Ho Lee down, how's that gonna play out? Because only 20% of Chang-Ho Lee's wins come by sub, but he does have 40% by decision. Has some power in his hands for all those ground and pounds. But man, Gaston Bolaños was lighting him up. I think I'm gonna go Chang-Ho Lee on this. It's just not enough to move me onto Cortavious. If Cortavious tries a grappling heavy game plan, it's going to be interesting to see because, I mean, Korean Zombie had really good grappling. So that leads me to believe that hopefully if Chang-Ho Lee is training out of that same gym, that he has some of that experience from that because, man, Zombie's a very underrated grappler in his own right with that twister finish and everything. Just all the slick stuff he was doing against Poirier. I think I'm going to go Chang-Ho Lee. I just think he's going to be smart. I think he's going to be fast. I think he's going to use that in and out movement, and I think he'll be able to beat Romious. And with the odds being this close, this isn't a fight. It's not like the other fights, right? Like even the bets placed are pretty split. You got 53% of bets on Chang-Ho Lee, 47% on Cortavious. I think that's pretty accurate. This is as close to a pick'em as we're probably going to see on this card play out. I'll just play it safe. Just take Chang-Ho Lee money line. Think that he, pretty much is able to just kind of do what Gaston Bolaños did and just piece up Romious and just not let himself be taken down. What do you think?
Chat, Bobby's not picking Cortavious just because of what he did to him in high school, just because of the ass slaps. That's the reason.
Slapping my ass with a towel, put a noose around my neck, said this is Hotep country.
I'm on Cortavious here. I'm on another dog here. Age, reach, all stuff's very similar. Chang-Ho didn't seem like he did anything great. Both these guys, big time strikers, but Chang-Ho, some of the fights I was watching, dude gets taken down, man. Dude is a liability when it comes to grappling. I saw, God, I forget who he was fighting. It was like another like Korean guy, but God, he kept getting taken down over and over and over again, and then just held there for a while. I think with Romious' muscle mass, I think he can hold him down, keep him there, maybe even get a finish. I'm not that confident in it, but I do think Romious has the tools that he needs to get this one done. And also, we're talking about betting percentages, 47% of the bets, 42% of the money, and at close to a pick 'em. So 42% at plus 114. It seems like right here, it's not a huge Vegas lean, but I do think I like this. Which, once again, sharp money is coming in on Chang-Ho, about 5%, but I like the Cortavious side, the side that has less of the public on him. Let's see, 66% takedown accuracy for Cortavious. Chang-Ho lead 38% takedown defense. I think I have to go Romious here, my man.
I always knew you were an enabler to bullies.
I think it's important for this nation, man. Bring bullying back.
You disgust me.
Let's talk about this next fight, man. We're talking Pat Sabatini versus Joanderson Brito. Well, we got a couple of your guys on this card, man. I don't have a ton to say about this one. I wish I could continue to take the underdog. I thought I was going to, but then we get here, and it's definitely not the Vegas side. 84% of the bets, 75% of the money on Joanderson Brito. I don't think I blame him. I think I have to go Brito here. Unfortunately, I just think he does too many things too good. I still think he's a contender here. Sabatini, as good as he is, I do think he could pull off the upset. This is not like a strong pick here, but I do think Brito is going to have the striking edge, and I think he can stick with the grappling with Sabatini and be equally as dangerous. What do you think?
Yeah, I like Sabatini personally. This one's tough though. Sabatini's 19-5. He's been in the UFC since 2021, so not that long. He's done well. Tristan Connolly was a good win at the time. Jamal Emmers, and it's a good litmus test. Tucker Lutz, TJ Laramie. Lost to Damon Jackson. That's a bit wild that you lost to the hair plug guy, but crazy shit happens, right? Lucas Almeida, he beat, lost to Diego Lopez. No shame there. I mean, it's Diego Lopez. He's
Right.
challenging for the titles. Well, he's going up against Volkanovski, so if he wins, he could potentially be knocking on the door of a title shot with that. So,
Well, I think whoever wins that gets it. I think
oh,
Ilya
that's right.
is like pretty much vacating it.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot Topuria actually did the right thing and vacated because he's pretty intent on fighting Makhachev. So,
Yeah,
yeah, that's wild. Wow, damn.
yeah, I
Volkanovski
know.
finds himself full circle back
Yeah,
for the title. So, no shame in losing to Lopez. Yeah, Jonathan Pierce beat him with a rear naked. This is why he deserves more hype, man. Like, really, the only weird loss is Damon Jackson because, like I said, there's no shame in losing to Lopez. But damn, yeah, I feel like people are just kind of counting out Sabatini. I mean, I know Joanderson's looked really good, Mr. Burrito. Uh, but yeah, put some respect on Pat Sabatini, man. The dude's been
agreed.
holding it down since 2021, and people are just better recognize. 17-4 for Joanderson. Coming off a close split decision loss to William Gomez. God, I hate William Gomez. That's all I gotta say about that.
Robbery.
Before I lose my mind. Good win over Jack Shore. I really like Jack Shore too. He just never really made it in the UFC. I don't know what really happened with him, but yeah, Jack Shore and then Jonathan Pierce also. He beat him as well. Weston Wilson, Lucas Alexander, Andre Feely, lost to Bill Algeo in his debut, but hey, Bill Algeo was a tough old bird. Beat Diego Lopez on the Contender Series in 2021. Interesting, fun little fact there. So yeah, Chepe Mariscal on the regional scene. I know a lot of people are big Chepe fans now. So yeah, Joanderson Brito. Yeah, I guess I
It
gotta go with
sucks.
Brito.
Yeah.
It sucks. 72-inch reach. Both these guys are manlets, 5'8". 2-inch reach advantage over Sabatini. Sabatini's 34. You got Brito's 30. Not a huge gap there. 19-5 versus 17-4. Nothing crazy there. And then, I mean, Brito packs that power, right? Packs that dong, doctor stoppage, got the ninja choke, had a ground and pound, rear naked, interesting punches. I think it's probably going to be a knockout for Brito, and I bet Vegas probably does too. So I'm probably going to get that at some poop odds here. So it's going to be disappointing because if it turns into a grappling match, I know Brito has those grappling wins on his record. Sabatini is a damn good grappler. So
He
if
is.
Brito's smart, he's going to want to keep this standing, and that's
Yep.
his best path is to either knock him out early and just rattle him, or cruise to a decision, just pat, defend the takedown, slide out of the way. Because man, yeah, rear naked over Pierce and ankle lock and all these grappling matches he's competed in and won against Andrew Kochel, Nico Price, Alex Caceres. Yeah, Brito does not want to grapple, so he wants to either cruise to decision and just pick apart, or he wants to get that knockout. I think he's going to get the knockout, unfortunately. So if you go for Brito, actually you get it decent enough that I'll take it. I mean, it takes a little edge off the minus 230 for Brito, plus 190 for Sabatini. I'll go KO TKO plus 110 for Brito. I really just think he's going to knock the noodles out of the poor guy.
Knock the noodles. All right, Bobby, take the main fight, man.
Lerone Murphy versus Josh Falmer Elliott. So yeah, Josh Emmett, you already know the deal. Snow elf inhabits Cyrodiil's snowy province of Skyrim. They were blinded, forced to go underground with their fights with the Dwemer. You know the lore by now. So anyway, yeah, Josh Emmett. Yeah, Josh Emmett's always a threat in this division. Extreme power in the man's hands, just that Faraz Sahabi would call it. I'm going to Joe Rogan and lean into the mic and start breathing on it. He's got that touch of death, dude. He's got that touch of death, dude. That's what Faraz Sahabi calls it, man. One punch and that guy puts you out, dude. I wonder how he would do against a gorilla from the zoo that escapes, dude.
Oh
Think he
my
could rip
God.
that man's dick off? Josh Emmett versus Lerone Murphy. Leron's looked really well, dude, really good. And everybody's obviously kind of thinking he's the next thing in the division. His only blemish looks to be that good old no contest from split decision loss. Well, it's not a loss. It was a split draw. God, it's so stupid. It's hard to say. A split draw. Only in fucking the UFC, baby, can you get a split draw. September 2019, coincidentally, his UFC debut. But other than that, Ricardo Ramos ground and pounded him. Douglas Silva de Andrade, Makwan Morkani, Gabriel Santos, Josh Kulabau, Edson Barboza, and Dan Ige is when he's really started gaining some hype after Barboza and Ige, those unanimous decisions over them. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Lerone Murphy's boring to me. I'm just going to call it how I see it. The dude is just not entertaining. I get why people want him to be a theme because technically he's basically undefeated. If it wasn't for that. So I understand that. And I understand that is what's playing a role in this fight. And I also get that, damn, Josh Emmett's 40 years of age. And unfortunately, he lost a good chunk of his prime fighting career after that pretty brutal Jeremy Stevens loss in 2018, but he really rebounded in a big way from that when he came back after healing up from all those devastating orbital injuries and just crazy, CTE or I can't say CTE. It's not diagnosable until after death, actually. So, but anyway, concussion and all the associated damage from being punched out by Jeremy Stevens. The dude came back with a vengeance. Beautiful. I watched it live. Amazing. Just literal slobber pouring out of Michael Johnson's mouth when he got KO'd in 2019. Meerschaert Bektic strikes finish. Shane Burgos just pieced up Ige. Close split with Cater, but it was still fun. beat the hell out of Yair till he got caught with the triangle, and then lost to Topuria. No shame there. So really, I don't get, now that I'm reminding myself of his record, why are people counting out Josh Emmett when he's lost to? I mean, Yair, that's kind of aging like milk. I get it, but if it wasn't for Yair, he's only lost to Topuria, the former champion, unbeaten champion, in his last few fights. Like, the man went on a 5-fight win streak, and in his last 7 fights, he has 2 losses. So he's 5-2. Then he has that brutal round 1 punch knockout. That's been 2 years now. December 2023 over Bryce Mitchell.
So
I get the, I
knocked him
get
back
the,
to 1942, man.
I know. I get the whole 40 years, 5, 6, 70-inch reach compared to 33. Damn, Murphy's also older than I thought. But still, 33 to 40, that's pretty significant, especially at these lower weight classes. I mentioned it a lot at featherweight. Not as much as like bantam and flyweight, but you're starting to get there. You're still at that weight class where you want those reflexes, you want that agility, and that's going away. So 73.5-inch for Murphy, so significant reach. So that's what I worry about, right? I worry Leron's going to make it so damn boring. He's going to use that 73.5, that 3.5-inch reach over Emmett and that height advantage to just basically do what he did to Barboza and just make it boring. But Barboza's never been good at cutting off the kid. Like, if you barely pressure him, the man's just galloping around the cage terrified. So he damn sure can't pressure somebody. So that's why it's so easy for Murphy to just do what he did and just make it boring. Just pop, glide out, pop, glide out. Because Edson Barboza can't defend himself to be able to move off at an angle, and he can't cut an angle to cut somebody else off. And then Danny Ige, he's fun, but that doesn't really move the needle for me in 2024. And the rest of these guys, like Amir Khani at the time, was already on the way out of the UFC, has been out. Josh Kulabau is not moving the needle. Like, it just doesn't do it for me. And it's like, I really just want Josh Emmett to just give us another brutal, picture-perfect knockout. It's just the biggest concern is, I could easily see, especially in a 5-round main event like this, like Murphy just being boring and just popping and moving and taking like that Topuria style approach, and just, Emmett never gets that opportunity. And also, I don't like the fact Emmett's like bet the house on me. I feel like that's kind of a jinx, and I'm not a superstitious person, but just doesn't motivate me when you're openly advertising that. Like, I appreciate the confidence, but man, it does not inspire me. So obviously 69% of bets are on Murphy. You got 31% on Emmett. Minus 325 for Murphy, plus 260 for Emmett. But I mean, if there's ever something to go off on the plus 260, it's this fight. I could easily just see Murphy just skating to that decision. I mean, Vegas obviously sees it too. You're only getting that at minus 110. I don't think he KOs Emmett. There's not going to be any grappling. If it does happen, I actually think Emmett would initiate, but it's going to be standing, and it's either going to be a Josh Emmett KO or a Murphy boring ass decision. But just for shits and gigs, why not lob it out on that plus 260 guy who does have that dynamite, and hope that Murphy can't be perfect for 5 rounds, because all it takes is that one punch. Like, even in that Michael Johnson fight, looked like Michael Johnson was just going to cruise to that 3-round unanimous decision, and he made one mistake and just got flatlined. So maybe that happened with Murphy. What do you think?
Does the money percentage change things for you? Because he has 31% of the bets, but 57% of the money at plus 260.
Yeah, I don't think Vegas wants to pay that out. Yeah, I think that's going to change it for me. It shouldn't, but yeah, I'm just going to go. Just going to go Murphy decision. Just going to go Murphy decision.
And you know what? That's exactly where I am too. And especially if you want to bet on Emmett, do the Emmett by KO at plus 450 instead of the Emmett money line. Don't take the Emmett money line. Because I don't think he wins by decision. I don't think he's going to win by sub. If you have to take Emmett, plus 450.
Right.
And you know what?
Go big.
Maybe thinking about that for the haymaker, but I'm with you here. I just think Murphy, he's younger and he's more than happy to just get a decision. Just get in, get the win, get out. He's not a guy that is a fan favorite. Like, he has a lot of hype, but he's not a guy that's going to go out there and entertain the crowd. He's just going to go out there, try to win the fight, and then move on to the next one, keep climbing the leaderboard. So I'm with you here. Murphy by decision. Once again, 69% of the bets, but only 43% of the money at minus 325. Once again, I mean, Vegas has been taking some losses this year. Emmett could win, but I feel this is how I kind of felt about the Ankalaev Pereira fight. Like, Pereira just has to catch him. You just have to catch him. But like, it's so easy to say you just have to catch him, but doing it's another thing. And Pereira was not able to catch Ankalaev. Murphy, Emmett, I'm not going to put my money on Emmett to get the punch. Like, he'll probably have a couple good shots, but he needs the punch to put Murphy down. I don't think he has it in him. So I'll go Murphy decision here too. Let's go to the haymaker, man. What are you thinking?
Yeah, this one's tough because I'm already on the Meerschaert decision sub at plus 200, which I feel like is really good. I also like the, I already said Brito KO, which is decent enough. And then, yeah, I just can't go with it. It kind of got ruined by him coming out and saying that, because obviously I'm sure that's what propelled all that money on him after he's like, bet the house on me. People started pouring money in. So that sucks. I just can't, unfortunately. Romious and Chang-Ho is too much of a pick'em to me. That's a little too dangerous. I think I'm going to go with Valentin. I had money line, and I still am doing the money line, but I'm going to also sprinkle in for the haymaker something for him, just because that's a big one that if it happens, it's going to be nice.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Valentin, KO, TKO, or sub at plus 280 double method.
I like that. I like that way you get both of them.
Right, because, yeah, if it goes to decision, it's just like the Murphy-Emmett fight. It's not going to be Valentin getting the decision. It's going to be because Torrez, Finney's just disgusting, stifling, wet blanket holding them.
Yep.
If one man can hold you down, two can do bad things to you.
The YouTube version.
Yeah.
Guys, that's going to do it for this episode. We cover every single UFC card, so please, if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. We'll be back next week with another great card, and also might have some extra bonus content coming out, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Peace, guys.
Peace.